Hello, I'm Claudia from Harmate.es, and this week I want to do a video from a question that Kim asked me a couple of weeks ago in YouTube. So she said, if you have time, would you please guide how to use level and curve since these are so scary to use, really complicated. Thanks a lot once again for the wonderful tutorial. So Kim, I'm gonna try to explain you the easiest way to use both curve and levels in Photoshop, and I hope you find it easier and less scary to use. So to do it, I'm gonna be using as examples two images. So on one side, we're gonna be working with these watercolor paintings, and in another example, I will be using this image as if it was a photo. It was taken with my phone, but it can be taken with any camera you have. So starting with the paintings. The paintings, you will see it much easier how to use specifically the levels. So let's go ahead and I'll show you. Maybe in the future I will do a video explaining why I always use these effects with these layers, these intelligent layers. But just to keep it short, I like to use it because then it's editable, so I can change it anytime I want. Instead, if I use it from the menu, from here, image, adjustments, levels and curves, once I touch something, I cannot go back unless I go to the history and I get my steps back. So what I will do is I will come here and I will select levels, and here we have this graphic explaining how are the levels in this image. So to understand this graphic, what you need to know is that this side here, it's explaining you the blacks, this is the gray, and this is the white. And if we make it bigger, we have here what's the maximum black and what's the maximum white. So for example, if we don't want to have super hard whites in our image, what we will do is we will drag this down, and as you can see, the maximum white is becoming grayish, and the same with the black. If we scroll it down, the maximum black, it will become less contrasted. So this is a way to soften your images. If you want this kind of not saturated effect, you can do it by moving these levels from here. I personally like to work with whites and blacks, and what I do is I try to, in this case, in this kind of paintings, I try to make the white as possible. So to do it, we have different options. We could come here to the white area and move it to the left, so it's making, as you can see, everything whiter, and if we make it more extreme, you can see it better. Or I could select from here these drop downs, and I could select the one from down that you see it's a little bit white. This is the gray and this is the black, so I would select the white one and come to an area like this one that I want it to be white, but it's for now it's gray. So I would press here and it will automatically say, okay, if this is the whitest area, how would the other colors look like? And still I have here so much gray, so I could even press here and it will become even whiter. So that's a very quick way to use levels, and as you can see, it changes everything here. That's how I personally use it, especially when I'm editing my paintings. Like that, I make sure that the whites are as much similar between them, and then I can edit it and cut it as I teach you in other videos. Then if we take this out, okay, I'm just gonna take out the eye and I'm gonna show you how I would use curves in these kind of images. So the same process, we will select from here curves, it will apply over the image, and in curves you have much more options. You can also select the white, the gray and the black areas of your image or painting, but you have this kind of graphic that it's not horizontal as it was the other, it's more like in all directions. So how we would use this? Usually what I do is I try to do an S here. So I would calculate if that's the middle, take the half of the half and the half of the half, so this part and this part, and try to put it up or down and see what happens. So if we just click here and move up, we see that everything it's like overexposing, like if the whites are becoming much whiter. And if I go down, it's going like the darks are going darker. So maybe I want to create more contrast on the blacks and then to make the opposite, like I said, to do an S and this one make it go up. So the effect that we achieve, it's, as I said, a kind of S curve, but what we can see on the image is that everything is much more saturated and much more contrasted. I like this result, but you can see that if you move it even crazier and you do things like this, you can get very crazy results, very, I don't know, it's kind of Andy Warhol effects. And something you need to keep in mind is that every time something takes the extremes, it's like burning that part. So in here we have the whites, as you can see here are the white and white. So this means these corners are white and these corners are black. So if we move this down, we will have the darkers. Let's see. We will have the darkers much more dark, and if we move this up, we have the whiters, sorry, much extremely. So now in case you want to delete what you made, or you feel like, oh, I made a mistake, I want to go back, all you need to do is go over any of these dots, any of these points, and drag it out. If you go out, it disappears. So coming back to what we had before, it would be something like this. And we could do the same with the opposite. So as you can see, what we get doing the S in the opposite is that we get the darker, so the blacks, we have it lighter, and we have the lights, the whites, we have it softer, so it's all in a grayish area. Okay, now the last thing I want to explain you about curves is that you can use them in each of the channels. So the channels are each of the colors that in this case it's an RGB image, so it's the red and the green and the blue. So in case you say, oh, I want to edit only the blue ones, it will take the blue, and the movement you do, it will be only for the blue ones. So you can edit multiple things, saying, okay, the blues, I want them lighter and I want them like softer, and the red ones, I want them more to the soft part, so we get this mixture with the yellows. So that's how I use levels. And again, if I come back to layers, I can just take out these, I could delete this layer and nothing happened, and I go back to the original image. Now let's see how these effects, you can use them when you are editing pictures. So it would be the same. We go to levels, and in this case we can see, and this is a very interesting thing to see. So this area here, it's telling us that there is nothing really black and there is nothing really white, because the white starts at this level. So what we can do is we can move this until the white, and we can move this until the first drawing for the black. Now we are sure that the darkest part of the image is really black and the lightest part is really white. Then we can go to curves and we can add a little bit more of contrast and saturation. So we can make the lighter more bright, the dark more contrasted, and we have a nice effect for our picture that pops up the color. Again, you can use it anyhow, like you can move, you can play around and you can get any effect you want. I like images saturated and with bright colors, but maybe you want it softer. So remember, it's just a matter of playing around with these areas and saying, oh, I want things more in a grayish style, so with no contrast. So we can move this down and we can delete this contrast. We can also play with the gray one and say, no, I want more of the light grease than the dark grease, or we can move it here and have more darks than lights. So I hope, Kim, this helped you. And let me know in the comments if that's what you were looking for. If you have any other doubts, I'll be happy to help you. And for the rest, remember that any questions you may have, you can comment under my videos or in my blog posts, and I'll be super happy to create a video tutorial especially for you. Now, please comment below if you find this video useful. If you like it, you can subscribe to my channel, and next week I'll come back with another tutorial. Bye!